Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, a podcast where we cover Avengers versus the X-Men, and we are winding our way home, Gary. We're getting close to the big climatic event, and then we just have some cleanup, some post climax kind of stuff to do. Got to go to the bathroom so I don't get a UTI from this crossover event.
Always some cleanup.
Yeah,
gotta turn the fleshlight inside out and do a gross chore.
I don't think I'll ever use a fleshlight in my life. I think
I don't recommend it.
Do what?
Like, they're not great.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it before on shows. It's at the exact moment in life when you don't want to do anything. You're giving a disgusting chore.
Yes.
Like, I have a time-sensitive, disgusting chore I have to do at the moment where I just want to vibe for a little bit.
Literally.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they vibrate. I've never actually seen one of these things in person before. So
no, it's a big plastic shell and then like a little silicone rubber fake vagina thing inside it.
Are they not dishwasher safe? Can you just pop the bad boy in the dishwasher?
I don't know if one, I don't have a dishwasher.
Okay.
Check your privilege. Two,
Wow.
the rubber bit in the middle, I don't know if it is dishwasher safe. It's made of like a soft jelly kind of thing.
Okay.
So I can also see it melting and then just not getting your security deposit back for reasons.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's weird. You know what? I'm not going to talk about fleshlights anymore because we actually have a decent issue of this comic book we should read. Because I was just about to go on a little rant.
This does introduce the X-Men fleshlight.
Yeah.
So fleshlight finally joins the X-Men.
Man,
welcome to the X-Men fleshlight. Hope you survive the experience.
Wow, this one's modeled. This one's shaped after Cyclops. That's okay. Sure. Right. All right.
Yeah.
I'll try anything once.
As the Phoenix, I can take anything I imagine and make it real. Like, it's the Cyclops fleshlight.
So yeah.
Instead, it's AVX 11.
It's AVX 11. Our cover is really, really cool. This is Emma Frost and Cyclops fighting on the foreground with a bunch of Avengers and X-Men in the background.
I love Captain America just being shot by an unrelated like shotgun or something.
Very cool. It for all the world looks like that. I don't know if that's red or green Hulk, but it looks like Hulk like threw him up to block a shot. Which is very.
If I were Hulk, I'd do that all the time.
Right? Because I mean, fuck that guy.
Like, just grab a dude. Just grab a dude and put him in front of bullets. He's got chainmail for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be fine. The last issue of this we covered involved the X-Men Hope punching Cyclops in the neck and really hurting him, and that being a big deal.
Oh, shout out to, I want to say this was Micah on Twitter, because we complained about like the Phoenix punch thing or whatever a bunch in that issue, and Micah tweeted at us and said apparently this is a common thing with Iron Fist now. Like, every new writer on Iron Fist invents a punch of some kind. Like, and I can't. Thank you for just making sure that I don't read any Iron Fist comics. It's just a quick way to get me to not do that ever again.
Just an invented punch.
Yeah. No, thank you. So she punched him. She punched Cyclops so hard that he showed up on the moon, where the Watcher was like, "Oh shit!" And then
that guy.
And then Captain America has to reach out to Professor Charles Xavier and get him back involved in the fight, which he said that he wasn't going to be involved in, but now he's going to be involved in.
He's changed his mind. This issue begins with Captain America giving a speech to somebody off screen, reluctantly asking them for help. Again, it's doing the thing where it's like they have more power than they can handle. I know it. We all know it. Again, just kind of asking to take on faith that, and that ends up being true. But again, the writers just made it true. It turns out, he's asking for help. It turns out the person he's asking for help is the original Green Hulk. I don't know what he's doing in continuity around 2012, but he's not in the X-Men or not in the Avengers. Now he has rejoined. So they got two Hulks going.
I feel like this was maybe a bigger moment than it comes off in the comics. Like, I think that we were lacking like the comic landscape context for this, because I bet he was like had been gone for a long time and nobody really knew what was going on with the Hulk. And so when he shows up and says, "Yes, Hulk will smash for you," it's supposed to be this big "oh shit" moment. And I was just like, okay, well, I don't know what that's going to do. Like, smashing has not worked on the Phoenix Force to date, but okay, sure, let's try more smashing, I guess. Like,
it kind of works in this issue. in a little bit, in a way that is like feels a little bit off. Like this ended up finishing the crossover, and it gave me real mixed feelings about it, because these last couple issues end up feeling a little easy.
Yes.
To me. Yeah. So, and the last thing I know that the Hulk was not happy with the Avengers because of Planet Hulks that happened. So it makes sense if this was their first reconciliation.
Yes.
Since the Planet Hulk. We cut over to I should mention too, Oliver Copiel is the art in this. I think the art is really good. I love this Hulk. Like, he's drawn thick but with posture.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like, he's hunched over and looks monstrous. He doesn't just look like how the Red Hulk is drawn by Walt Simonson, which is just like a weird Adonis.
Yeah.
He looks like a rangy beast kind of thing. It's really cool looking.
Give me Immortal Hulk vibes, which I think is like maybe the best Hulk stuff that I've ever read in my life.
Hands down. Like, there's nothing that compares to it. Like, it's great. So we cut over to a field in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Here.
Everybody's favorite X-Man, Rogue, is basically asking for asylum to an empty field that she knows the Avengers are at, because Madison Jaffrey's tracked everybody there. And then out of the field, a giant light shines, and Jesus is there. Oh, I'm sorry. Charles Xavier is there.
It's so Messiah like imagery. He's got this like peaceful smile on his face the entire comic.
He's a real like beatific. I don't know if I'm saying that word correctly because I've never said it out loud before, but he's just got that like, yes, everything will work out, child kind of vibe to him. And I do not like it.
It's really weird. I don't know if there was a comic we missed that was a connecting tissue between I will not go against my X-Men for anything to this I will make everything all right and shut down Cyclops' brain.
Yeah.
Professor X. I feel like we missed something.
Yeah, but also maybe they just didn't do that.
No. Like that's, it might not. Again, there are parts of this that feel too quick.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're offering the X-Men Sanctuary, and all of the X-Men appear out of this portal or whatever. It's basically every X-Man except for Cyclops and Emma Frost are now joining the Avengers. They are sick of Cyclops. In part, I know the Wakanda thing was a big deal when that happened. But apparently everyone has changed their mind all at the same time.
Yes.
And Emma Frost was being a real weird monster. So I get that for sure.
I'd forgotten that when Iceman is not Iceman'd out, he's just wearing little booty shorts. It's amazing we didn't know this dude was gay before now.
Yeah.
Like this is
he's dressed like that guy from Jackass who roller skates.
Exactly. Yeah. Like and it's also, I know that this is what crossovers do, which is, we have to unite we got to stop fighting each other so we can fight the real villain. But it is extremely bizarre to have gone what feels like a year. Like, I don't actually know when we started doing AVX, but we have been talking about these issues 2 a week for a while now, and getting all the Versus comics and all of this stuff into like, oh, everybody's chill. We're all just going to shake hands. Like, Havoc and Captain America shaking hands, like, I feel is not great. Like, I feel like if I was Scott, I would be really mad about this particular group
that is
of
very
people.
Specifically setting up Uncanny Avengers.
Yes.
Which comes after this. And in real life, when these comics came out, AVX came out every 2 weeks. So 12 issues, that's 6 months. So this is a half a year event, in real time when it came out. The quickness and pacing of this is all over the place. How quick it is here now. Like, I'm just going to spoil it. The thing they used against Cyclops is punching him by the 2 secret weapons they had. So there's nothing. There's no trick or anything to it. That ends up being like super fast, whereas the beginning of this crossover felt so goddamn slow.
Yes. When
we had 3 or 4 issues on the beach. Like, the pacing is really bad.
Yeah. And I feel like that this is just because I'm not real satisfied with like the ending to a lot of this, and I feel like this is just Marvel crossover events.txt at this point. Like, every single big one that you have that involves like a bunch of different corners of their universe, it's just never very satisfying at the end, because you're just like, oh, well, things are basically the same, even if it's like, oh, now there's an Uncanny Avengers or something. Like, I don't know. Like, it ushers in a new era that is still constrained by the bounding box of comics. Yes.
Like, it can't be that that wild. Like I think that for me, the status quo this sets up is the most interesting thing about it, and is the thing that made me want to read it.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, oh, like Cyclops is in jail and now the X-Men are on the Avengers team. That never happened before. Is there something that addresses that?
Yes.
And the answer is kinda. You know, like Iceman walks up at this point in his Speedo and is like, Professor X, you know, you can read my mind. We know it's time to kill Cyclops, right? Like, we have to do it. And he's like, I love him. I love you. I love all of you. I know it is time.
Okay.
Well, you know,
dial this down.
Like, chill a little bit. I would have read an entire issue of Cyclops and Emma being the only last two people on Utopia, like slowly losing their minds.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. Like, this is so like weird and hostile. Like, and I really like them questioning like what they're thinking and feeling.
Yes.
At this point, like, this is actually pretty cool. I needed a little bit more of this throughout the series.
I needed more of this, and just like I would have also just preferred some like Emma Frost alone time of her just like kind of fighting herself on going crazy a little bit. Like, I think that would have been really interesting, while also like, because they've built this utopia in the sky and there's like floating blocks all around that they're controlling, and I would have just liked to see her like walk around and do weird like build shit around her and then tear her right back down. Like it's there's just not enough.
It's
cool
very
stuff.
much. It's very much like the beginning of the series. I praised it for having our perspective be outside of the X-Men to make them feel very alien. And then now that they are doing emotional beats and we have to start caring about them as the characters they once were, we needed that time with them. You know, it was a strength in the beginning of the series that we're on the outside. It's a weakness at the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
We just get these little glimpses. They're kind of going back and forth. Like, I know what you're thinking. If you kill me, you'll get your Phoenix power. It's like, I'm not thinking that, but that's what you're thinking. You know, and they're just slowly, this is really good. Like, they're going paranoid. They're both on fire. And Emma's like, I think we can just kill everyone and start over. Like, we have the power. Let's kill everyone and make the world as it is.
Hell yeah.
And Cyclops, who's still fundamentally a good dude, is like, no, we shouldn't, we can't do that, you know? Until eventually he has to just be like, get away from me.
Yes.
You know, like I love that. And she says, you know, you want to kill me and burn me and all I've ever done is love you. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Like, they're both like going crazy from this shit.
Yeah. And this is good. I would have liked to see more of this downfall because, like you mentioned with the pacing issue, is we spent so much time on the beach. We spent so much time with Cyclops and the rest of the Phoenix Force kind of doing the good stuff. Like, we've talked about this a lot, where until relatively recently, they didn't really do anything wrong. It wasn't till Namor like went a little too hard on Wakanda, and which was, you know, Emma Frost like whispered in his ear about shit.
Yeah, put that in, which we still have not, you know, closed the loop on. Check out this as a pitch for like a way to restructure this event. The Phoenix Five show up. The Avengers are scared, but like cautious. You know, the Phoenix Five start fixing the world, and the Avengers are on board with it in the beginning when they're just fixing things. Like, they give them the benefit of the doubt. And then they start going crazy. We see more and more of this shit. Like, Captain America is overhearing Emma Frost talk about destroying the world and stuff. And that's when they turn, you know, and we replace those 6 issues that were on the fucking beach with them trying to work together in the beginning and a slow creeping feeling of dread that they are not right.
Yeah.
Not just Captain America saying in the beginning, I know this isn't right. I just know it in my bones.
Exactly.
You know, trust me.
Yeah.
Like, fix the crossover then, you know, because they end up in the place they need to be. They end up as psychopaths that I don't want to have controlling the world, but they don't, the space in between is really bad. And the way the characters react to them in the beginning is really bad.
Yep. This fight ends with Cyclops feeling something, and then we jet over to the same beach. Is this
I don't know.
The capital beach? Is this capital B beach? Like, is this the same? Because they just built the new Utopia right above the old one, right? Like, it's
so there are bits of Utopia floating in the background of this.
Yeah. So this is the same beach.
Yeah.
So we're back there. I just
thank God.
Super excited to return here.
Love beach.
Love beach.
Yeah.
And Xavier is there. And this, and again, we're gonna go. I'm gonna keep harping on this because I want this to be so much better than it is. Because this is almost where I want it to be. You know, because what Cyclops is saying here, which is like the ego on you, like I finally did this right, and I did this by myself, and it kills you that you don't have anything to do with, is an extremely valid point. But what we get in return from Xavier is just, I'm not here to fight you. I'm not here to fight you. I'm not here to fight you. And
I'm shutting you down.
Exactly. And it has the cadence of like, stop hitting yourself, basically. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you've ever been in an argument with someone and they're like, well, I don't know. That's your problem. Like, that's nothing to do with me. And it's like, no. You made me feel this way. Like, you're the one. No, this is no. Like, you can't just say this doesn't involve you. You're the active
participant in this.
Yeah.
It's also, he's bluffing. At this point, like they have the plan, for Cyclops to get punched to death, which happens. We're going to get a flashback in the next issue of this. But spoiler, Professor X can't just shut down Cyclops' mind.
No.
He tries. And that makes me think that, like, wondering whether I wonder if there'll be stuff in the post material that implies that Xavier knew Cyclops would kill him. And he wanted to do, like, this is a martyr thing. Like, he's basically suicide by Cyclops, in order to get public opinion, get everyone on his side and stuff. But he didn't need to, because ultimately what they do is they have Scarlet Witch and Hope punch him.
Yes. So
if it is a noble sacrifice, it was an unnecessary one, which is frustrating. Like, if that's the idea. Yeah. So he's just not making a lot of sense.
No, not at all.
In this,
either I want this to be smarter, or I want Cyclops to be much more psychotic and unstable. Like the problem with a lot of this is Cyclops is just getting mad at people telling him what to do as he's trying to save his entire species. Like, he still hasn't broke bad at this point. Like, the worst he did was like break into Kunlun and beat it up a little bit, which frankly I would want to as well.
And nobody died. He hasn't killed anybody. He didn't put those fucking horrible kids. He put them in a jail they could escape. No one's died yet. This is weirdly bloodless.
Yeah.
For like what it's supposed to be. And he's going to break bad. There's also, man, when we talk about the next issue, I have a lot of things to say about that. I'm holding my tongue.
Okay.
Because there's we'll get to it. But the entire arc of the story ends up being like weirdly tragic and not addressed in the way that it should be. So when he says he's shutting him down, all of the Avengers appear out of nowhere. I got the impression that maybe he was making them invisible or something. Like Professor X was making them invisible. It's a cool shot. Like, Emma Frost is coming down from the upper right, and some of the Avengers are holding them off. Some of them are holding back Scott, and Xavier's just staying there, like, chill.
Xavier tells him at one point, like, I'm ashamed of you. You think you know me, but you don't even know that we're inside your head. And then very shortly after that, we get this cut to everybody and like Doctor Strange holding Cyclops back. And I kind of had the same impression that you did of like either he was disguising that the Avengers were there or that he was just operating inside his head. But like, very cool, like to go from nobody on this beach to fucking almost a full scale battle on this beach.
Like an apocalyptic battle.
Yeah,
a big battle.
I think it's hilarious that they keep bringing Hawkeye to this fight. I just
he does a little something in this one.
He does. He gets a schluck or whatever the sound effect is, which I appreciated.
Man, the Hawkeye stuff in the next issue as well. I have so many things to say about AVX 12.
It's not great.
It's very funny.
So then we're gonna fight, and once Cyclops sees that all of the Avengers are here, united with the remaining X-Men, he goes. I love that like full Phoenix flame out that he does and says enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Professor Xavier has the nerve to be like, sit down, boy, and the boy on that seems like really specific. And again, I can't stop thinking about this. Like, they have just pushed and goaded and prodded and forced Cyclops into doing all of this shit. Like, they are not the cool people here. Like, I know they are worried about the thing that happens at the end of this issue, but also they caused the thing at the end of this issue. Like, a full stop, right? Like, full stop.
On multiple ways. Like, which again is the thing I'm for. We'll talk about more, but my point is that when the Phoenix actually ends up in Hope, it's good. So the Avengers splitting it in the first place is what caused all this shit. So not only did they cause it by antagonizing Cyclops, they caused it in the first place by not being chill.
Exactly.
You know, it's pretty frustrating, and that is not reckoned with, at least here. We get some Avengers fighting, Avengers and X-Men fighting the Phoenix 2 at this point. Like Storm blast Emma Frost. Cyclops is about to zap Xavier, but Captain America gets in the way. You know, and he's hinting. He's like, "You're forcing me to do something I don't want to do."
Mm-hmm.
You know, at this point, Scarlet Witch is going to save him, and Emma Frost stops him, like zaps her rather. Green Hulk smashes Emma Frost, knocks her down and stuff. And
did you get the impression, like the way that looks in the frame where he's standing behind her and like he's smashing down into her just like standing there, that she just goes like like a little Emma Frost popsicle or like an Emma Frost like irrigation spike just straight down into the ground? Because that's what I got.
Yeah, like
her head is sticking up like she was buried in sand on the beach or something. You know what I'm saying?
Like a Huey Lewis video all of a sudden.
Yeah. Thank you, Green Hulk. We appreciate the smash. Thank you. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah. Basically just saying like, stay down, Scott, and then just keep pushing him. Magneto shows up and he's like, "I'm the one who brought Xavier here," and he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, why would you do that? They're here to kill us. You of all people, what are you doing? This is ridiculous." They start blasting Magneto, and zap him. He's down, but not out. I love the art on this, Thor running at Cyclops and Cyclops just whipping his hand up.
Fucking cool as hell.
Zapping
I love that. Yeah.
Super cool.
Looks really great.
It's when he gets the arrow in the neck from Hawkeye.
Chuck. It's the sound effect. That's very hilarious to me, that he just shot Cyclops in the neck. And he's trying to, and again, at this point in time, I am 100% on Cyclops' side, because he goes back to Xavier and he says, "You see that? They're trying to assassinate me. Like, they were trying to literally kill me. This is who you sided with. This is who you convinced all these X-Men to side." And I am still on Cyclops' side. Like, I really wish they had spent more time having him just go get more brutal, get more crazy. Him and Emma Frost both get wrapped into some weird psychosexual thing and start actively being bad before we have this confrontation. Because right now, I'll say it another time, I'm on Cyclops' side.
Yeah. Yep. It definitely here. And like, he's like, "They're trying to stop us." And Iceman's like, "No, it's not us, just you. Everyone's sick of you, Summers." And again, he hasn't done very much. Xavier says, "Okay, we're finally done. I blame myself. I put you on this path." Like, very condescending.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up, he tries to put him to sleep. And what I suspect he might have known would happen. Cyclops zaps him.
Yes.
Hurts him real bad. He's not dead at this point. Cyclops doesn't have enough power to kill him at this point. So he takes the Phoenix Force from Emma.
Yeah. Really good panel where when he zaps Xavier. I love like the multiple head thing.
Looks really cool.
And this is like a legitimately sad thing. I feel like this is when Cyclops officially breaks bad. He gets so fed up, and finally, like, Cyclops is a character who has done his fucking level best for his species, who has always been a soldier since he was a fucking teenager, since he was, has sacrificed probably more than just about anybody else in this fucking universe to be able to get to where he is today. And on the brink of what he sees as his species being extinct, is forced to do this to the person that he loves. I think this is like really, really tragic. Like, this is and I feel like it could be handled a little bit better, but like this moment where she looks at him as like, "I can't believe you," is really, really good. Like, I actually really, this exact moment where Cyclops is like, "No, I am willing to do the bad thing. Like, I know 100% that this is bad, and I'm going to do it anyway," is a good moment. I think this is really, really great.
Like, I have to.
Exactly.
Like, if I don't do this, it doesn't work.
And this is bad.
He does. It's brutal. He does it. He's not killing her. He's just taking her power. He does it. Everyone's shocked by this. Even though it's weird because Emma Frost, the only consequence she gets is getting arrested.
Yeah. Well, the next issue,
they're all like, I can't believe he did this. And that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
And I like this. I like this panel where he's like, Scott, look around you. I'm begging you, son, stop this now. And him just like, you're not my father, like turning over, and then just shutting off Xavier.
Yep.
And
going,
leave me the fuck alone, old man.
Going full Phoenix Force. We see like the full bird, and then just Xavier dead with Cyclops standing over him. And he's crying. Like, Cyclops is literally crying. Like, why did you make me do this? Why couldn't you just leave this alone? And is, again, this is, I think, a moment because like all of the Avengers start coming after him, and he just like, Wolverine gets Hulk to throw him over there, and Cyclops just doesn't even look at that and just turns away and just like shreds Wolverine as on his way in. Thor is like, I'll do this, and he's like, Captain America's like, no, you won't. And this is the moment that I think everybody's been waiting for, which is where he goes Dark Phoenix, because he realizes like, oh, I have all of this power. This is what Jean felt like. And then he manifests as the Dark Phoenix with the black letters, a cool new costume, which I've read. But I love that every time something happens, they get cool new threads. It's very good. Thank you very much.
It's the most underrated part of the Phoenix Force.
And I think Beast tells Spider-Man he's Dark Phoenix. And again, I almost like, I kind of wish he had been Dark Phoenix during this whole conversation. I really wish we had gotten the Scott Emma moment outside of any kind of fight with the Avengers. We had more time with them in Utopia, steadily going crazy, and like he almost had to betray her to take his power to save her, and then turns into Dark Phoenix. Would have been even as tragic. And made this whole fight a lot more believable and a lot more exciting as a villain turn, I think. As it is, it just comes across to me as, once again, the Avengers just like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. And then him just fucking decking Captain America in the face, and then getting in trouble from Dad, because this whole thing is a weird thing that I'm picturing like a family vacation for some reason.
Well, in real life, like, incitement is a thing.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like if you punch somebody in a bar, the context of which of what it happened in is considered legally. Like if somebody is just constantly harassing you about something, like that ends up being important information, and they just didn't give motivation to the harassment.
Exactly.
Of it very well. It gets the next issue, which has cool parts about it, just like this one has cool parts about it, ends up being more frustrating to me because of how senseless this whole thing ends up being.
Yes.
The fact that the Phoenix was actually doing its thing, and Cyclops was kind of right in this is maddening. So yeah, cool action, really great art, some really great moments. I just don't love how we got there.
Me too.
And the next issue we're going to talk about, which is not AVX 12, New Avengers number 30, I hate.
It's
I hate
awful.
it. I hate it more than I hate the Wolverine the X-Men issue we're doing. It is unreadable.
I think so too. I think actively the text was hostile to my eyes throughout most of that book.
60% of it is Bible quotes being thrown back and forth at each other.
I hate it. Despise it.
No joke. Yeah, I despise it. I hate it. It's really rough. But that's a problem for in the future.
Yes. That's a problem for Saturday, if I have my days correct.
Yep.
So in the meantime, you can always support us if you want to by leaving ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and any other place that this podcast might be found. Spotify has ratings now, Gary. I don't know if you knew that. You can go click 5 stars on Spotify.
Well, that's Spotify is no good. I wonder if we're gonna. I haven't had the conversation with Cole about it yet.
I have, but not with Cole. But somebody asked me, he's like, "Are you guys going to take Monster of the Week off of Spotify?" And I said, "Not until Taylor Swift takes her music off Spotify." I stand Tay. That's what. What's
the joke I was making is that we'll only stay on Spotify if Neil Young and Joni Mitchell take their music off. Which they did in protest.
I want them to double down and be
the
more.
Band we keep joking about. Yeah, we keep joking about making them. It's either us or the Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's no political reason. I just don't
like RHCP. Just don't like them.
I just don't want them on the platform. But yeah, you rate us and review us. Don't give money to Spotify, but if you're doing Spotify free, go with God. Other Podcast Addict and Apple Podcast, give their money to different evils.
Mm-hmm.
You can also, you mentioned the Patreon.
I think so.
Mention the reviews. Tell your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Get them into the X-Men. X-Men are going to show up in the movies at some point. We're going to have the X-Men Renaissance. I have something to plug.
Okay.
Forgot about this. I manifested an X-Men video games episode of Retronauts into existence, and that will be coming out shortly.
Nice.
So yeah, talking about basically up through X-Men Legends 2.
Awesome.
I want to say as a part 1, and then eventually I think they'll do a part 2. But I was just kind of like, Retronauts, do a thing about X-Men video games. And Henry Gilbert's like, that'd be cool. And then Bob Mackey DM'd us like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. He finally wore him down.
That will, he doesn't care about any of this shit. It's just gonna be me and Henry dorking out, but it's gonna be fun. So I've been doing research about that. I think it's gonna be a good episode. That comes out soon. I'm recording it in a couple days.
Excellent. Well, everybody go look for that. I'll try to retweet it from the podcast Twitter if you want to go follow us over there. And stay safe until we come back with new Avengers